Good morning and workout. You're not going to need any equipment. However, you may like a mat for some of our exercises where we're going to be down on the floor. Every single repetition, we'll do 3 rounds of exercises, and every single exercise we will do for 45 seconds, and I'll give you 15 seconds in between each exercise as I set you up ready for the next one. We'll start with a warm-up and we'll finish with a cool down. So let's get beginning and we'll go from there. Just start to bring your arms across your body. Just start to create a little bit of mobility through the shoulder joint. Also, just start to feel like you're engaging some of those muscles around the upper body. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take you into a rotation. So bring your hands around about shoulder height and just pivoting off your feet. This will add a bit of mobility from your ankles, your hips, all the way up into your upper spine. And then what we'll do is we'll start to get all of your muscles ready for doing a few strengthening exercises before we really start to add your heart rate to this as well. So let's begin by taking you into a little bit of a squat. So feet shoulder width apart, lowering your hips down towards the heels and trying to get a little bit lower with every repetition. As we start to do this, you're going to start to prepare your thighs, getting you into a deep position with your back straight, so we could potentially later on take you into some jumping exercises and some more strengthening exercises as well. If those aren't for you though, don't worry, I will give you options of regressions, so making the exercises slightly easier, or some progressions where you can push your fitness a little bit more as well. Let's take this into a step back lunge. So taking a large step back, lower your back knee down towards the floor, step your feet together, and we're going to alternate from one side to the other. Each time you take that large step backwards, make sure that your weight is equal between both feet. I think it's one of the best ways to start to open up through the hips, starting to engage some of the stability as well. The amount of times that people exercise and they start to feel like they're wobbling around a little bit. And in fact, actually in today's workout, we've actually got some balance work for you as well. So it's a great opportunity for you to tackle some of your demons and work on your balance if that is something that challenges you as well. Okay, let's take you into a bit of a heart raiser. So what we're going to do here is I want you to take an imaginary skipping rope and you're just going to push off the floor just so we can start to get the heart rates up a little bit higher. It's really important to make sure the heart rate's up, ready for your workout. That way then you can push yourself as hard as you would like to as well. Let's take this skipping and just take a little jump from side to side. This will start to get your ankles ready for some of that movement. Now, one of the first exercises we're going to do today is that we're going to ask you to push off your foot and use a little bit of movement from side to side. So you are going to need just a little bit of space, but this change of direction in the warm-up will help you with that as well. Let's just scissor those feet. So as you're skipping now, imagine you're 1 foot forwards, 1 foot backwards, just continually to get the heart rate up. It's a good workout today. We've got quite a nice mixture of different exercises from power, strength, some cardio blasts in there, and we've got a little game in our last round of exercises as well. Okay, just loosen out your body. Let's take you into a fighting position. I want you to jab, cross, jab. Then we're going to jump 180 degrees and again jab, cross, jab. Each time you throw those punches, bring the fist back to the side of the face. Each time you throw that punch forwards, connect your feet to your fist. What we're looking for when I say that is you to pivot off your feet. So all of the muscles, anything from the floor all the way to the point of where contact would be, is going to be connected. And we're starting to engage all of those muscles. Everything from your glutes, up through the sides of your stomach muscles, all the way through your chest, back, and shoulders as well. Last one's here. Okay, relax those arms out. Let's get your knees to start to go into a bigger range of movement. We're going to pivot the feet over to one side, reach arms high. You're going to drive your knee up 3 times. Then we'll pivot over to the opposite side and drive your knee over to the opposite side. So I'm reaching my hands high and the knee is coming anything from stomach to chest height. And that big range of movement will keep the heart rates going up, but it's a great way of starting to get all of your hips and your muscles ready for some of our first exercises, which are going to be almost lunge related as well. Last one's here, and just loosen your body out. Let me show you the first exercise. Going to create a little bit of space because we're going to move from side to side. You're going to push off, transferring your weight from one side to the other. It's called a speed skater, and we're starting now. Let's get going. So push your arms to help keep that athletic momentum. We want you to travel from side to side, anything from 1 meter to 2 meters. You can be as quick or as slow as you want to. So if this isn't the sort of exercise that makes your joints feel comfortable, just take a step and push from one side to the other. And this dynamic step can be just as good from pushing from one side to the other. It's starting to just stretch out the muscles and get you ready for the rest of the workout as well. Now keep this going. You've got just over 10 seconds. Then we're going to take you through some lunges. Then we're going to take you down to doing some deadlifts. This is where we're going to be doing a little bit of balance work as well. Okay, relax there for me. So next exercise is a clock lunge. Now check this one out. I'm going to move to the back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a large step forwards. Then I'm going to step it out to the side. Then I swap my legs over. Lunge forwards, then lunge out to the side. Let's get this going. So it doesn't matter which foot you use, as long as we're getting in different lunges. And I like to call these clock lunges because I think of a giant clock where I head out to around about the 12 o'clock mark and then heading out to 3 and 9 o'clock, just depending on which foot you're working with as well. So get that nice low position down towards the floor so the knee drops down towards the floor on that front lunge. And then on the outside, as you push, think about transferring your weight forwards and backwards, side to side. Now, this isn't the most challenging of exercises, but it's a great exercise for improving your range of movement. We've got a few more difficult exercises coming up, but I like this one as a beginning workout as well. Okay, let's take you through your next exercise. It's called a single leg deadlift. So a little bit of balance involved here. I'd encourage you to look forwards, and what we're going to do, take one foot off the floor. You're going to lift the back leg up and then come back, and you're just going to tap the floor with your foot. So let's just work on a single leg this time. And what we're going to do, as we do all the exercises twice, this will give you an opportunity to learn the exercises, and then you can start to challenge yourself. So we'll do the opposite leg on our second circuit as well. Now, I'm not too worried about how far you lean forward or how high you lift your leg. As long as you can try and keep your balance, and as long as you are challenging that range of movement, we have to appreciate that some of you will be stiff, especially this time in the morning. Some of you will be tired. Some of you just might not have the greatest of balance, flexibility, or mobility. So we just work on exercises that needed to be worked on. Okay, relax there. Let's get you ready for that speed skater again. Now, you've known the exercises now. It's a chance for you to really start to push yourself. So speed skaters, I'm going to encourage you to get into a slightly deeper athletic position. And if you wanted to, when you push from side to side, the foot doesn't touch the floor. Let's get going. So push from one side to the other. Foot doesn't have to touch the floor. You're welcome to do it. If that foot needs a little bit of balance, that's fine. Now, if you want to take over me, get a little bit quicker, get a little bit faster, then that's absolutely fine. What we're looking for is for you to push yourself as hard as you want to work. It's not up to me to set your standard. I just want to lead you through different options of what to do, but I want you to push yourself as much as you can do. So for 10 seconds left on this exercise, see if you can overtake me a few more times. See if you can push off into a wider position. See how much you can do and relax there. Let's get you ready for those clock lunges. So I'm just going to move to the back of the screen here. And what we're going to do is that large step forwards and then out towards the sides, and then we'll alternate through the legs. So it'll be forwards on the opposite leg and out. So think about 12 o'clock going forwards, 3 or 9 o'clock heading out towards the sides, and again heading 12 o'clock and again over to the 9 or 3 o'clock, depending on which direction you go. And it's just about creating that little stretch for the inside of your face and also that deep range of movement as well. Start to see if you can get a little bit further with that step, especially out to the sides now. I like to quite often use my arms just to help give me a little bit of balance as well. Just helps counterbalance the transfer of weight. Last couple of repetitions here. Think about this one as working on your mobility. Then we'll start to focus on our core in our second round of exercises. So let's have a look at those single leg balanced deadlifts. Facing the opposite direction this time, just so I can indicate that I'm going to change the opposite leg. Let's get you looking forwards. Pick a point to focus on. Then let your eyes follow down towards the floor as you lean forward. Bring yourself back up and then repeat. Now you can reach towards the floor. You can hold on to something if you need to, Whatever you need to do to make this exercise work for you, it's just important to do a little bit of balance work so we get a whole range of different fitness benefits. Working on mobility, flexibility, coordination, all key skills that make you move better overall. It's not all about just getting your heart rate up. It's got to be doing some of these exercises that you might neglect, but they're really good to do as well. And relax there. Okay, we're going to take you down to the floor. So I'm going to grab a mat. I encourage you to do the same to make it a little bit more comfortable. Alternatively, a towel or a jumper can be used as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to go down to a mountain climber. So hands underneath your shoulders, up into a press-up position, and your knee goes across your body to the opposite elbow. Let's get you moving. So think about being in a strong press-up position, and your knee heads towards the opposite elbow. Now, if your knee hasn't got that much range of movement to get to, just bring it under and across your body to whatever range you feel comfortable. Keep the control, keep steady here. Be in that strong press-up position. I always encourage people to look down towards their hands. That way they keep their spine a little bit straighter. The last 5 seconds of work to go. Then what we're going to do is we're going to turn you onto your side for a side plank. So bring your knees down, put your elbow underneath your shoulder, stack your feet upon each other. And then from here, we're going to go up into a side plank position, and you're going to rotate underneath and back up. And we're going to do 45 seconds just on one side here. I know if you've joined me before, we quite often change sides, but this time we're going to give you an option to have a little rest if you need to. But if you can, we're going to maintain this side plank just on one side. As you reach underneath your body, let your shoulder try to head down towards the floor, and then just pause in that strong plank position. Now you're over halfway. If you need a little rest, you can do. We're going to try and keep you moving if we can. Now, if you don't find the feet are comfortable here, you can split the feet where your top foot goes in front. So that's just a little option which will give you a little bit more stability if you need it. And relax there. Okay, let's get you to lie down on your back. And the next exercise is going to be a single leg hip press. So I'm going to leave one heel on the floor, and I'm going to lift one leg up. Hands come down to the side of my body, and I push against the floor with my heel, and that extends my hip and lifts my bum off the floor, and then lowers it back down. So what we're looking for here is that single leg does the work again. So just be mindful about which side is doing the work. And then push down into the floor to lift your hips high, getting the strong engagement. This is a great exercise and a really safe one for working on your glutes and your lower back at the same time. So if you know anybody who is suffering from any lower back pain or any weaknesses, and they want to start to find an exercise that will help give them a little bit of strengthening work, but in quite a safe way, this is a great exercise to turn to. But make sure you're warmed up and prepared to do the work as well. And relax there. Okay, what we're going to do now is we'll get you onto your fronts for that mountain climber, working across your body again. So back into that press-up position. We start in 5, and then the knees come across your body. Let's make a start. As the knee comes across your body, keep that strong press-up position. Remember what we said about the eyes looking down towards your hands? Think about squeezing your butt cheeks when your legs are straight and just almost pausing for a second in between. It's not a race here. I always like to tell people that when they're doing core work, it's about control, not speed. Often if you start moving quickly when you're doing these sort of core exercises, you're going to end up using momentum, and the muscles don't actually get much of a workout because they don't stay working for a long period of time. So try to work steadily and strong. Last couple of seconds here, and then we'll take you into the side plank on the opposite side. Okay, let's get your elbow underneath your shoulder again. Now we're on the opposite side this time again, feet stacked upon each other. Remember the option, top foot comes in front, and that will just help you, especially if you lose a little bit of balance as well. Let's come up into our side plank, reach underneath the body, then bring yourself back up into that side plank again. Now as you rotate underneath your shoulder, Try to make sure that you each time come back up and making sure that the hips stay high as well. We don't want your hips to lower down and to sag in the middle of your body. Okay, now you're just over halfway. If you need to have a little breather, you can do, but try and keep going if you can. You've got the stability of the foot if you need it. You can always just hold a side plank. You can always take a little breather. Just over 5 seconds to go. And relax there. Let's turn you onto your backs, and we're going to do that single leg hip press. Now remember, it's the opposite leg that's going to be working this time. So push the heel up. What we're going to do is extend through the hip by pushing your heel down into the floor, lifting your glutes high off the floor, looking up towards the ceiling. Press the hip high. Make the muscle do the work from your lower back, your glutes, your hamstring, and your calf all at the same time. What we're looking to do is to really improve the condition of those muscles and the way that they interact with each other as well. Really important to make sure that your glutes fire. Quite common for runners, especially to have what they refer to as a misfiring glute, which basically means that the order that the muscles work in aren't quite right. So this is one of those exercises that can really help with that. Now you've got just over 5 seconds to go. Then what we're going to do is we're going to get you into a standing position. Okay, let's bring you up. Now I'm going to get rid of the mat here, but just to create a little bit more space. Now, what we're going to look for here is a split squat. So I'm going to take us down into that lunge position. What we're going to do is start at the bottom. We're going to come up once and then pause at the bottom. Now what we'll do is we do 2 repetitions. Up twice and then pause at the bottom. Stay there for me. Now we do 3. We come up, 2, 3, then pause at the bottom. Now we go for 4. Up, 2, 3, 4. And then pause. Now we come back down. So 3 in a row this time. And last one here. Pause. Now we do 2 this time. So it's just holding that movement at the bottom. Now just 1 on its own. Pause at the bottom. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And shake it out. Now we'll do the opposite leg next time as well. Next exercise we're going to do is the walkout. So we're going to stand with your feet together. And what we'll do is standing in a very tall position. I want you to lean forwards, then walk your hands out in front of you into a press-up position, and then walk yourself all the way back up to a standing position. Join in with me. So hinge at the hips, hands touch the floor, keeping your legs as straight as possible, into that press-up position. Then walk your hands back, and again, you're trying to keep your legs straight as you hinge from your hips forwards and backwards. It's called an inchworm. And the idea behind it is you lean forwards from your hips, your hands walk forwards, maybe just a few inches at a time, into that strong press-up position. Now, if you wanted to, you could add in a press-up at the bottom of that movement. Totally up to you. But if you want to add that press-up at the bottom, that's fine. Then be strong as you walk your hands back up and relax there. Great job. Okay. Now, the third exercise in this round is burpees. We're going to do 3 jumps. We're going to put your hands onto the floor. You're going to jump out, jump in, and jump up. I'm going to start off with some easier options. So come and join me if you need to. Step out, step in, and stand up. So your choice of stepping or jumping. You pick the intensity that suits your level of fitness, your ability, or your goal of the workout today. So if you want to walk out into this burpee, that's absolutely fine. Now you're coming up to halfway. So if you're walking, you stay with it. I'm going to challenge and lead the people who want to work into that jumping position a little bit more. Jump out, jump in, and jump up. Be strong in that movement. You're doing a great job. Last one here. And relax there. Great. Okay, let's take you into that split squat. So opposite leg this time. Down into that lunge position. We first start off from this bottom position. We come up and down and pause. 1, then 2, 3, 4 times, and then back down the pyramid. So holding this position, come up and down, hold. That's 1. Come up twice now. Hold at the bottom. That's 2. Now we do 3 times here. So lift up and down 3 times. Pause at the bottom. Now this time, 4 repetitions. Let's go. Up and down 4 times. Hold at the bottom. Now we do it 3 repetitions on the way back down here. Think about squeezing those thighs together. Hold at the bottom. Now 2 repetitions in a row. Pause at the bottom. 1 repetition. Now hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, give it a little shake there. Okay, now next up we've got our walkouts into that inchworm. Option of the press up at the bottom of this movement. So feet together, stand tall. We hinge from your hips as we transfer forwards. 3, 2, off we go. Lean forwards from your hips. Walk your hands out in front of you. Option of a press up if you would like to. And then walk your hands back. Keep your legs as straight as possible when you hinge from your hips. This way it gets you a little bit more in your hamstrings. When I say gets you, what we're looking for is to work the muscles, stretch the muscles, and to challenge that range of movement as well. So keep steady. Again, not a rush on this one. Option of the press up if you'd like it. Then walk your hands back up. Stand tall at the top of the movement again. Last repetition here. Option of the press up again. Bring yourself back up. Okay, last exercise of today. 45 seconds of burpees. Then we take you into a little bit of yoga as part of our cool down. So let's get you ready for that. We do the 3 jumps or you step in. I'm going to go straight into the jumps. I will show you the option halfway through. So jump out, jump in, and jump up. Every time you go into those burpees, big range of movement. So big jump out, big jump in, and push off the floor with as much power as you can. It's not about how many repetitions you do. It's about controlling the movement and creating power at the right time. Now, here's the option: stepping out, stepping in, and standing up if you'd like it. So your choice as to how hard you want to work. We've got 10 seconds left to go. I'm going to join in with the more advanced options just to push yourself towards the end. Great job. Well done, everybody. Fantastic work. Now we can prepare ourselves for our cool down. So I'm going to grab the mat and we're going to set you up ready for a little bit of yoga. We're going to start off with some up dogs and down dogs. So getting your mats ready, making it as comfortable as we can. And what we're going to do is we're going to rest your knees onto the floor, hands underneath the shoulders, and you're going to lower your hips towards the floor. Just pause there for a second. Let your eyes look up from the ceiling and the walls, just where they meet. Roll your shoulder blades back. Now from here, we're going to make sure the toes are tucked under. Push into your hands and lift your hips up high for me. You're going to look towards your toes. We're just going to feel a little stretch through the back of the legs. And I just want you to pedal your feet. Now the feet may just start to walk a little bit closer together. And all we're doing here is starting to stretch for the calves a little bit more. Now just pause for a second there. Let's transfer into that up dog again. So weight comes forwards into your arms. Lower your hips towards the floor. But this time the knees aren't going to touch the floor. Eyes look up. Roll the shoulders blades back again. Now we're going to go back up into that downward facing dog. So push through the hands. Lift your hips high. Eyes towards your toes. Now just pause here. Some of you may have your heels on the floor. Some of them may be slightly lifted. Just want to feel that stretch coming down the back of the legs. Find an active position through the shoulders. Now lifting one foot off the floor, and I want you to swing that foot up towards your hand. So it's a big range of movement. And if your hand and your foot aren't near each other, just pick your foot up, wiggle it forwards, whatever you need to do. Then reach the hand up high towards the ceiling. So you're reaching across your body. Push the back heel away from the rest of the body. So you really start to open up in this big range of movement. Now from here, bring the hand down inside your foot, step back to downward facing dog again, and then big step over to the opposite side. And again, if you don't quite get there, transfer the foot forwards a little bit, giving it a little wiggle. Lift it with the hands and position it into a higher position if it feels comfortable. Reach your hand high, push the back heel away. And then bring the hand down inside your foot. Step back to downward facing dog one last time. Now this time we're going to lower your knees down towards the floor. Rest your big toes together, and we're going to sink your hips down on towards your heels. I want you just to think about creeping the fingertips forwards. You know how we did that inchworm earlier? Just move the fingers forward just so you feel that stretch come through the back and the sides of the body. You feel a little stretch, hopefully around the back of the shoulders. Well done. Now we're going to bring you back up to a standing position. So hands come next to your knees. Tuck your toes over and transfer your weight onto your feet. Roll up through your spine and just loosen your body out a little bit. Now we're going to take you into a standing quadricep stretch. So if you want to hold on to something to give you a little bit of balance, that's fine. If not, take hold of one foot. Have a slight bend in the standing foot. And I want you to lengthen through the spine. Think about pushing your foot into your hand. And think about pushing the hip forwards. Now, when both those are achieved, you start to feel that little bit of a stretch through the hips as well. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to slowly lower that down and swap it over to the opposite side. And again, a slight bend in the standing foot. Lengthen up through your spine. Good work, everybody. Excellent. Now slowly bring that onto the floor. Just shake out your body a little bit. Bring your arms around a giant inflatable ball. Okay, so just a bit of imagination here. Now, once you've got that giant inflatable ball around your arms, I want you to think about inflating it more. So as you were to blow into it, the ball would get bigger and you start to feel a stretch around your back. So your elbows have moved further away. And they've started to create this little stretch feeling through the upper back. Now bring your hands around behind your lower back for me. Lift your chin and chest up tall. And just feel a nice lasting stretch across the shoulders and through the chest muscles. Think about taking your hands a little further away from your lower back. And just release. Good work. Thank you very much for joining me for this Matrix Fitness live workout. I'll be back again here at 12 o'clock and also at 5 o'clock this evening. So if you'd like to join in and you've just been checking out the exercises, then please do join in with us. And we'll look forward to either seeing you later on today or alternatively next week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7:45, 12 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the evening. Take care, everybody. See you soon. Bye-bye.